What if I told you that the biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you want isn't out there? It's not the economy. It's not your boss. It's not even the people who didn't believe in you. More often than not, it's you. It's the quiet, invisible choices you make every single day. The ones that feel small, harmless, almost routine. But over time, they pile up. And slowly, silently, they build walls around your potential. That's the painful part. Potential doesn't usually get destroyed in one dramatic moment. It doesn't happen in a single failure or one bad decision. It happens quietly. It happens when we put things off, when we shrink back into comfort, when we compare ourselves to everyone else and forget who we are. And before we know it, another year slips away. A year where we could have grown. A year where we could have stepped into something bigger. A year we can't get back. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you've been feeling stuck. Maybe you've been carrying this restless sense that you're capable of more, but you can't quite figure out what's holding you down. I know that feeling. I've lived it too. And the hardest part is realizing it's not the world stopping you. It's the habits you've allowed to stay. So, in this conversation, I want to walk with you through 9 signs that you might be quietly destroying your own potential. Not to make you feel guilty, not to add more pressure, but to help you see clearly what's been hiding in the background. Because once you see it, you can change it. And even breaking just one of these habits could unlock a completely different future for you. So if you've been waiting for a sign, let this be it. Don't waste another year. Let's start uncovering these patterns together. Chapter 1. The 9 Signs. Before we dive into the 9 signs, I want to pause for a moment and acknowledge something. Change isn't easy. Growth isn't easy. Most of us don't wake up in the morning thinking, "Today, I'm going to sabotage my own potential." It doesn't happen like that. It's not intentional. It's quiet. It shows up in the little choices we make every day, the hesitation, the self-doubt, the way we avoid discomfort because it feels safer to stay the same, the way we distract ourselves with busyness while deep down knowing we're not moving forward. If you've ever felt stuck, or like you're watching your own life pass you by while you keep waiting for something to change, you're not alone. So many of us live in that space, caught between who we are and who we know we could be. And here's the thing. These patterns don't make you weak. They make you human. Every single person you admire has struggled with at least some of these. The difference is, at some point, they recognized the patterns and chose to break them. That's what today is about. Not judging yourself for the habits you've carried, but becoming aware of them. Because awareness is the first step toward freedom. Once you see these signs in yourself, you can't unsee them, and that's a powerful thing, because it means change is finally possible. So with that in mind, let's step into the first sign. 1. Waiting for the perfect time. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start when I feel ready"? Maybe it was about launching that business, writing that book, changing your health, or just speaking up. We trick ourselves into believing that one day the stars will align, that we'll suddenly wake up fearless, confident, and prepared. But the truth? That day never comes. Life is always messy. There's always something in the way. I used to think like this too. I told myself I'd start creating only when I had the perfect camera, the perfect space, the perfect knowledge. And do you know what happened? Years passed. My ideas stayed locked in notebooks. The perfect time was just an excuse for fear. Here's what I finally learned. Clarity doesn't come before you start. It comes because you start. Progress is messy, uncomfortable, awkward, but it's also the only way forward. So whatever it is you're waiting on, stop waiting. Begin today. Begin small, because the right time is always now. 2. Saying yes to everything. We live in a culture that rewards busyness. It feels good to say yes to everything. Yes to extra work. Yes to favors. Yes to plans you don't even want to go to. You feel productive, needed, liked. But over time, all those yeses add up, and suddenly your energy is gone. Your focus is shattered. You're doing so much for everyone else that your own goals are sitting in the corner, collecting dust. I remember a season of my life where I said yes to every request. A friend needed help moving? Yes. Someone needed advice at midnight? Yes.
Work asked me to take on another project? Yes. But late at night, I'd lie in bed exhausted, thinking, when will I have time for me? The truth was, I wasn't protecting my priorities. Saying no feels uncomfortable at first, but every no to distraction is really a yes to something bigger. Your purpose, your health, your peace. Start small. Pause before you answer. Ask yourself, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? That question alone can change everything. 3. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Comparison is poison that tastes sweet at first. You scroll through social media, see someone who's younger than you, richer than you, more successful, and you start to believe you're behind, that your story doesn't matter, that you're not enough. But here's what you don't see: their struggles, their insecurities, their failures. Social media is a highlight reel, not real life. And while you're busy comparing yourself to their chapter 20, you're ignoring the beauty of your own chapter 2. I fell into this trap when I started creating. I'd look at people who had thousands of followers, polished videos, huge communities, and I'd think, why even bother? I'll never be that. But then I realized, my only competition is who I was yesterday, and every step forward, no matter how small, matters. So track your own progress. Write down the ways you've grown in the last year, even if no one else noticed, because your path is yours alone, and comparing it to someone else's will only steal your joy. 4. Avoiding discomfort. Comfort feels good. It's safe, predictable, easy, but it's also a ceiling. Every time you avoid discomfort, you choose short-term relief over long-term growth. Think about it. The first time you spoke in public, it was uncomfortable. The first workout you did, uncomfortable. The first hard conversation you had, uncomfortable. But didn't those moments also change you? Didn't they make you stronger? I used to avoid discomfort at all costs. If something scared me, I'd delay it. If something felt awkward, I'd run from it. But what I didn't realize was that by protecting myself from discomfort, I was also protecting myself from growth. The secret isn't to avoid discomfort, it's to invite it in small doses. Say yes to tiny challenges every day. Speak up once in a meeting. Wake up 20 minutes earlier. Try something you've been putting off. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's proof that you're expanding. 5. Talking more than taking action. We love talking about our dreams. It feels so good to say, one day I'll do this, one day I'll change. Talking gives us the illusion of progress, but without action, it's just noise. I used to be the master of this. I'd tell people, I'm going to start my own project. I'm going to write a book. And it felt so good to say it out loud, like I was already doing something. But weeks turned into months, months into years, and nothing changed, because I hadn't taken action. Dreams stay dreams until you give them legs. Stop talking about what you're going to do, and start doing one small thing today. Write the first page. Send the first email. Create the first post. Consistency, not talk, is what builds the life you want. 6. Surrounding yourself with negative people. Take a moment and think. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Because whether you realize it or not, their mindset is shaping yours. If you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, gossip, or people who don't believe in themselves, it's almost impossible to believe in yourself.
I remember being around a group where every dream was laughed at, every idea shot down. And over time, I started shrinking too. I stopped sharing my goals because I didn't want to be mocked. But the moment I started spending time with people who believed in growth, everything changed. I began to believe it was possible for me too. You don't always need to cut people out completely, but you do need to protect your energy. Spend more time with people who lift you, inspire you, and push you toward better. And if you can't find them right now, be that person for yourself until you do. 7. Ignoring your health. Here's something we don't like to admit. Success is built on health. You can't think clearly when you're running on 3 hours of sleep. You can't give your best when your body is exhausted. You can't create or lead or build when you're constantly running on empty. For a long time, I thought I could just push through. Late nights, junk food, no breaks. I told myself, I'll rest later. I'll take care of myself after I succeed. But my body had other plans. Burnout hit hard. My focus was gone, my energy tanked, and my passion disappeared. That's when I realized, health is not optional. It's the fuel for everything else. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Just start small. Drink more water. Move your body every day. Get an extra hour of sleep. Treat your health as sacred, because without it, nothing else can last. 8. Procrastination, disguised as planning. This one is sneaky. You feel productive because you're planning, researching, organizing. But really, you're just avoiding the scary part, starting. I used to spend hours making detailed plans for projects I never started. Color-coded outlines, perfect notebooks, endless brainstorming. It felt safe because as long as I was planning, I didn't have to risk failing. But the truth was, I wasn't moving forward at all. Planning has its place, but it's useless without execution. Don't let preparation become procrastination. Take one action today, even if it's imperfect, because action teaches you more than endless planning ever will. 9. Refusing to learn and adapt. Life is change, and the moment you decide you know it all, you stop growing. Stubbornness, pride, ego, they all hold us back from learning. I've been there. Times when I thought I had the answers, and so I resisted advice, ignored feedback, and stayed stuck. But when I finally humbled myself, when I opened up to learning again, everything shifted. Growth requires curiosity. It requires the courage to admit, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. Stay open, stay flexible, adapt when life changes. Because potential doesn't die in failure. It dies in refusal to grow. Chapter 2. How to break these habits today. Now that we've uncovered the signs, let's talk about what really matters. How to start breaking them today. Not next month, not when life magically gets easier, but right here, in this moment. Because awareness without action just becomes another form of procrastination, and you've carried these habits long enough. The first step is honesty. Take a breath and ask yourself, which of these habits has the strongest grip on me right now? Not all of them, not a list, not everything at once. Just one. Choose the one that feels the heaviest, the one you know has been costing you the most. That's where you begin. The second step is to make it small. Too often, we try to overhaul our entire life overnight, and then we collapse under the weight of impossible expectations. But breaking habits doesn't happen through massive leaps. It happens through quiet, consistent steps. If you're waiting for the perfect time, your first step might simply be doing one imperfect action today. If you've been saying yes to everything, your first step might be practicing one gentle but firm no. If you've been drowning in comparison, your first step might be logging off for an afternoon and writing down what you've already achieved. Small doesn't mean weak. Small means doable. and doable creates momentum. The third step is compassion. You won't get this right every day. You'll slip back into old patterns. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. The real change happens when you learn to notice the slip, pause, and choose differently the next time. Every time you return to the path, you make it easier to stay there. And finally, anchor yourself to vision. Don't just focus on breaking the habit. Focus on what you're making space for. Imagine the version of you that's no longer waiting, no longer stuck in comparison, no longer weighed down by other people's expectations. Picture their freedom, their confidence, their peace. That vision is your fuel. Keep it close. So don't overthink this. Don't wait for the right mood, or the right plan, or the right timing. Choose one habit. Take one small action. And let today be the day you stop destroying your potential and start building it. Because your future doesn't begin someday. It begins the moment you decide it does. Chapter 3. The challenges along the way. Now, before we close, I need to share something important with you. Breaking these patterns isn't going to be easy. I don't want you to think this is a quick checklist you can cross off in 1 week and suddenly you're free. The truth is, change is hard. Habits dig themselves deep into our routines, into our thinking, into the way we see ourselves. And when you try to pull them out, they fight back. You'll have days where you feel unstoppable, where you take action, set boundaries, lean into discomfort, and you think, this is it. I've finally figured it out. But then the next week, maybe you fall into the same old trap, overthinking, procrastinating, saying yes when you really wanted to say no. And in those moments, it's easy to think, I'll never change. Maybe I'm just stuck like this forever. But listen to me. That voice is lying. Falling back into an old habit doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. Growth doesn't move in straight lines. It's more like a spiral. You circle back to the same struggles, but each time you come back, you're a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more aware. That's progress, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Think about learning how to walk. No one stands up and runs on the first try. You wobble, you fall, you cry, you get bruised knees, but you stand up again. You keep going until balance comes naturally. Growth in your adult life works the same way. The stumbles are part of the process, not proof that you're broken. And here's something else. The challenges themselves are the very things that shape you. Struggle builds resilience. Resistance builds strength. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you keep going after a setback, you're training yourself to become the person you want to be. So when it gets hard, and it will, don't run from it. Expect the challenges. Welcome them as signs that you're stepping into new territory. Because if it feels uncomfortable, it means you're no longer stuck in the same place. You're moving forward. I want you to hold on to this. Persistence matters more than perfection. You don't have to get it right every time. You just have to keep showing up. One choice, one step, one day at a time. That's how real transformation happens, not in grand leaps, but in small, repeated acts of courage. And if you can remember that, if you can be gentle with yourself on the hard days and still keep moving, then there is no challenge that can stop you. Here's the truth. You don't need to change everything at once. Sometimes we overwhelm ourselves thinking, I have to fix all of this right now or I'll never grow. But that pressure becomes another reason we don't move at all. The power is not in doing everything perfectly. It's in doing one thing consistently. Even breaking just one of these patterns can shift the course of your life. Think about it like this. If you've been walking down a road that's leading you somewhere you don't want to go, you don't need to turn your entire life upside down overnight. All you need is a small step in a new direction. One step might not seem like much, but if you keep taking that step again and again, over weeks and months, you'll end up in a completely different place. And maybe as you were listening, one of these 9 signs stung a little more than the others. Maybe it made you uncomfortable, because deep down, you know it's something you've been struggling with. Let that discomfort guide you. Don't ignore it. That might be the exact place where your growth is waiting. I want you to really hear this. You are not broken. You are not behind. You haven't wasted too much time. You are not too old or too late. You're simply in the middle of your story. And the middle is a beautiful place, because it means there's still so much left to be written. So, let me ask you, which of these 9 signs hit you the hardest? Share it in the comments, because you never know who else will read your words and feel less alone. Sometimes, the thing you're struggling with is the same thing someone else is quietly fighting too, and your honesty might be the very thing that gives them courage. If you take just one thing from this video, let it be this. Don't waste another year waiting, doubting, or staying stuck. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to begin. Your future self, the version of you who's stronger, healthier, more confident, more alive, is already out there, waiting for you. And every choice you make today is either pulling you closer to them or pushing you further away. So choose today. Choose the small step. Choose the messy start. Choose the life you know deep down you were meant to live. Because 1 year from now, you'll either look back with regret or with gratitude that you started right here, right now. The decision is in your hands. If this video spoke to you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need the reminder today. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep walking your path. Thanks for watching.